We're a group of Gen Xers who became aware of our neurodiversity later in life. Join us as we share stories, interesting topics, and talk to special guests. Welcome to Season 2 of This Is How My Brain Works.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the last episode of Season 2 for This Is How My Brain Works. All four of us, the band is back together. We have Jason and Michael and Sarah, and I'm Krista, and we are back for the last episode of Season 2. What some of you don't know, probably, is that when we first sort of got together, we actually did this for about 6 months of recordings to just see if we had something here, just to see if we all thought that this was worth it. And then obviously we felt the answer was yes, so we started doing it for real. So we've been together now doing this. Jason, you said it the other day, is it 2 years? 2 years now? And
Well, we're coming up on, I feel like we're coming up on three,
on 3
starting our
years.
third year
Oh yeah.
together
So 3 years, gosh, time. What is time?
as
So
a foursome.
as a foursome. So we thought it would be really good today as we end Season 2 and take a break. And just so you all know, our break is going to consist of sharing some of our favorite episodes through the breaks so that you guys can rediscover them. But through our break, at this point, we thought it might be good to, just come together and sort of reflect and talk about what this journey has been like for the four of us. And I think for me, I can tell you that this journey has been like no other in terms of, I don't think I would, oh shoot, there you guys are going to see what we're doing right off the top. My timer just went on. That there is, I don't think I would be the person I am today had I not been with this group. And I'm so grateful for it. And I'll let everybody else talk too. Sarah was just mentioning that she feels like she's sometimes going backwards. And I can definitely feel like that as I'm unmasking and realizing more about who I am. It's not a linear line forward to betterment. It's been a rough 6 months in certain ways and also just so wonderful in other ways. But without this group, I would not, I'm just so grateful because I would not be who I am. So I'll start there and I'm going to let it go off to someone else.
I'm on a golf course. So I've
All
got
the time.
tee time all the time now.
So she
In my
teed you
mind.
up?
She teed me up.
Oh!
And what a beautiful foursome this is. Golf, so many. Anyway, something happened to me. Something happened to me yesterday.
The grass is always greener.
It's really green and the clouds are beautiful. But something happened to me yesterday. And after 55 years, I realized that I could pinpoint it. And what happened was I got sick. Nausea, laying on the bathroom floor, left work early, slept all day. In the past, I would just chalk it up to I have no idea. Did I eat something trying to figure out what happened? But it came to me. I realized what it was. And I'll tell you, it was stress. It was lack of sleep. There were many ingredients to why I didn't feel well yesterday. A lot of ingredients, more than we need to discuss. But that being said, I felt more comfortable. I could pinpoint what was going on. I mean, this would never happen before. I would just chalk it up to I have no idea, something I ate. But I'm more in tune with myself. And like you said, Sarah, there are many things that we have discussed over the last several years that, I don't like about myself. I would like to change something about myself. And a lot of those things I haven't. We talk about them a lot, but I haven't changed those things yet. Maybe someday. But the beauty of what we've done, just the four of us, and talking about being spicy in the mind, is that we understand, at least we understand ourselves better, and we hope that other people start to, open their eyes and say, oh, you know what, I do that. Maybe this is something I struggle with and I need help here and support. But we've been able to pinpoint in ourselves some deficiencies and where we need help and support. So that's, I think for me, I'm grateful for that. That's helped me just understand myself better. And then going down the road, making decisions that hopefully don't don't kick me back 75 steps, right? I want to just continue to go forward, but it's not easy. It's not easy. And just lastly, in doing that yesterday, I had a lot of conversations with, and I think we discussed this very early on. It's like I have two personalities, right? And one's talking to the other one all day yesterday. One's talking to the other one. So many things going through my mind. Um, but that conversation 2 years ago would have been very upsetting between the two personalities. Like, why did you do this? And and it was a lot softer. It was a lot more compassionate.
Mm.
It's okay. There were a lot. It was just that conversation in my head was a lot easier to handle. And thus, my illness slid away, I think, quicker than it would have. So I hope people see things in themselves through our podcast and what we've done in helping them just understand themselves better and why some things are more difficult than others and why they're crazy amazing in other things, right? Which we don't recognize enough either. Yeah. No, you guys play through. Go ahead. It's fine. I'm talking. Go ahead. I know. We'll go after you. We're just three.
Anyone listening totally does not get this.
Explain, Krista. Paint the picture for us.
Oh, Sarah's like,
No,
because I'm on a golf course, so you expect like all these people wanting to play golf, right? And I'm in the way. Like I'm just basically just off the fairway. Like people are gonna hit me.
Sarah.
Thank you for calling on me, Miss Krista. And I think that before I say what I maybe have learned or backslid into, I want to say what Jason has learned as a Zoom participant. We started this season 2 with Jason stuck in I fail with my words. Someone else was that
mustache. He had a mustache.
Yeah, he had accidentally put the French tickler mustache on his face, which looked similar to his regular goatee or kind of gruff. And so you would only see it, y'all, when he turned sideways. It would like be this floating brown thing near his nose. It was great. It was great. So what Jason has learned is now he's on a golf course, and that's the joke. He's got people he's pretending are playing through behind him. And I love golf because my dad was a golfer. So
thank you.
I appreciate your jokes.
Find it perfectly.
Yeah, and it's a dad joke, in fact.
I'm actually laying down right now. I'm laying down in the grass.
See, we've learned to touch grass. That's actually probably exactly a good segue into what I've learned these two. I'm not going to get too specific or deep because, wow, I will totally cry. But Krista, you're 100% right on. I wouldn't be handling the stuff that I'm handling as well as I'm handling it, but for the three of you guys. And I probably need to put most of the props on Michael for being the one who reached out first to be like, yo, dude, can I interview for this podcast I'm thinking about doing with my bestie, Jason Rudy? And I was, thank you, because, and that's the thing, what you guys have taught me, Jason and Krista and Michael, is to touch grass, to remember in those moments when I'm flooding that really I just need to touch something real, observe my body, what's my body doing in this moment. Kind of to Jason's point of laying on the floor and feeling his body. All those feelings were the same in an illness of that kind 3 years ago. But now we're taking that moment to feel the cold floor of the bathroom and know, here's where my body is agitated. Here's where I can start to feel peace returning. Maybe it's with my breath. And that takes me to stuff I learned from our guest, Liz Rutledge, one of my favorite people. Thank you, Liz, for talking to us about how to access meditation and that calming moment to go from reaction to breathing to responding with an intention that matches who we want ourselves to be, that wise self that Michael's always talking about. So I did in our pregame discuss with the crew how much I'm backsliding and I have felt overwhelmed. And actually, Jason, you're totally right. I was overwhelmed twice in the last 48 hours, had that where like felt like I was spinning in a circle and wanted to scream at the top of my lungs and couldn't figure out where to go to spread that energy to just get it out. But the two me's talking about that agitating energy were much nicer to me. They were nicer to each other, even though the feeling was still totally uncontrollable and I hate that feeling. Whew. But it's okay. And thank you guys. So anyway, the end. Your turn, Michael.
Wow.
It's
You're
your
on
turn,
deck.
Michael.
Yeah, this has been a wonderful journey. I think creatively, I have learned to maybe let go of a grip, because I guess like maybe previous creative ventures, it's been like a little too attached to an outcome or attached to an expectation or how it should go, and I would get into this analysis paralysis, and to the point where I can think of a handful of things that just didn't even go because it was like, this could be cool, and then I just thought it into not even happening.
Into dissipation. It just dissipates.
Yeah, it's just like it becomes overwhelming and putting too much on what it should be, and that, and like this has been kind of very freeing in that it's just like Sarah said, yeah, okay, reaching out to Rudy and then finding Krista and Sarah, and but that's really the end of. I mean, we all contribute how we contribute, and it's organically unfolding how it's going to unfold, and I think just letting go of trusting the dynamic, trusting the because forcing something is also not great, like so if something is kind of putting something out there in the universe and just like letting it unfold, and it's just going to kind of take on the life that it takes on, and that's what's been remarkable for me. It's just I can't even believe coming up on 3 years or the exact date. It's just like it's really pretty amazing. I mean, if you look at like all the things that you've tried in your life and what has kind of taken off and what has fizzled and whatnot, and this has just been very cool to just see how it unfolds, and it's not stressful. It's just like this organic type of thing. I think so. That's creatively. I think in terms of neurodiversity, what I maybe didn't expect was in ADHD world, like for me, I felt like, well, I'm going to have to figure this out on my own. I'm going to have to do it on my own. I'm going to have to, because of just my process and the way my brain works, it's kind of a lonely pursuit, or just making your way in the world. And so then you start doing you get into relationships, and then there's that dynamic, and you learn about yourself in these relationships, and then those struggles really kind of come to light. And so then you get into couples therapy or an individual therapy, and you start defining things and getting diagnosed with things and moving forward and learning about tools and pharmaceuticals and like what are those things that can help you stay regulated, stay focused, keep moving forward in a way where you're not suffering as much. And I again, it was just like, even though I'm in this couples therapy, I'm responsible for doing this. I don't know how else to do this other than in my way, kind of on my own. And this has been a big. I would just say, if you are, if you fall under that neurodiverse umbrella, or if your partner's neurodiverse, it's not any. There's no magic bullet to it, and there isn't like, I've got that now and I've overcome it. As Sarah's saying, as Krista's saying, as Jay's saying, it's this ongoing thing. And so through educating yourself, through therapy, if you choose to do that, through just self-awareness and things like those things are all necessary. But this group here is really amazing in that you don't feel alone in going through it. You have this support group that, like, as Sarah said, something will come up and you feel like you're backsliding, but you have this group where you'll be forgiven, or you don't have to feel shame, or you'll feel understood by this group. And so I think the power of doing all those things that you would just think that you should do if you are have a certain challenge, a neurodiverse challenge. I think even though it might feel solitary and individual and alone, like just watching something on social media, yeah, that you can help identify something. Or going into therapy, yeah, that person's going to advocate for you and help you, in your relationship and your partner. That's all going to, but I mean, like, having a support group is,
Just
I think,
knowing you guys are out there.
I think it's very, very impactful and
Yeah, Michael, one of the ways that
necessary almost.
One of the ways that I describe when people say, "What is your podcast like?" I say, "Well, honestly, the four of us get together and we have it's kind of like a support group. It's sort of like therapy, and we give you the privilege of listening to our crazy." So, because I had an experience where I've had a few people who are listeners see me at an event, and they were telling me about the stories that one of us said here, which is a very bizarre situation to have, because we feel so private in this group. I think we're so comfortable with each other, and I mean, there are definitely things that we have boundaries on and sharing on this, that we all know about each other, but you guys don't know about us. But we have boundaries, but for the most part, we're really open and honest, and so it's really interesting to hear how that affects others. I've had people say, "Oh, I talk back to you guys," or whatever. Yeah, because I think we are, we're this group for us is very open and honest and vulnerable, and we just
and the reason being is
what's out there.
We came together because we're undiagnosed middle-aged human beings who went through an era and a time where we maybe struggled in certain areas as teenagers, as young adults, as adults, in marriages, in different things, not knowing why, not understanding why certain things were a little more difficult than others, and why we couldn't, whatever, you put a name on it.
Snap out of it. Why couldn't you
And for the last 3 years, we have had the ability to look back and understand what life has been like in a body with a mind that you're still trying to figure out. but now coming to the realization that you can name some of these things, you can look back and understand why certain things have, why you weren't great at writing term papers, you weren't great at taking tests, you had trouble in social areas, you had light bulbs are going on and have been going on for us for the last 3 years. I mean, I can speak for myself, but we had no idea.
Still,
We
I
had
had
nothing.
I saw a meme on something just like yesterday and was like, oh, that's a piece of my puzzle. And it feels
Wow.
like it's still happening, you know, where I'm learning more, or I'm like, oh, I've kind of been that way. You know, it was like someone that was like, were you the person who, when you were young, you were alone and your parents would have paid you to play with other kids, but you just wanted to be by yourself, and then all of a sudden in high school you learned how to be social? And I was like, oh my goodness.
You must be my cousin.
Like this is my
Well,
that is my
Are we
it's like,
related?
I,
you
I
know,
would like to make an or just kind of try to articulate an observation here. You know, for those listening, it's not like there are parts of us that we reveal that like the others will identify with. Like, oh, that makes sense. I get that's exactly how I thought about it. I hadn't really considered it in that way or whatever. And sometimes someone will say something where it's like, I don't really relate to that as much. That wasn't my experience as much. So, you know, even though we are together in this, you know, support group, we all remain individuals. We all remain like in the neurospicy spice rack. We're all different spices. We're not all the same spice. You know, it's like this is the
Can I
ingredients.
be smoked paprika?
But here's the thing:
ingredients.
we're not all just one. We've got
Yeah.
a little of a
You're right.
little bit of everyone else's.
It's like
We're a
that.
main paprika. You got a
Yeah.
little cinnamon on top. You got a little, you know
It's
what I
like
mean?
that Italian mix or whatever. You're like, what's in the Italian mix? And it's
Totally.
like those different
Totally.
things. We all have this different combination of things. Some of it overlaps and some of it doesn't. But it's like even and it doesn't have to be. You don't all have to be like the same type of spicy for this to be beneficial. You know.
But you know, you're all in the spice rack.
Yeah.
But also, you know, to that point,
You
Michael,
all
like
live in the spice rack.
when we started, one of our first clips in our first season was about a doctor talking about how only 20% of people fell into the neuro spicy world. Well, just what in the last couple months, they've come out saying that it's 1 in 33. So when you even look at the time that we have been doing this,
Wow.
it is you know, it is there's and there's a lot more talk about there about why more people are identifying this way, and about hormones and women not being studied before this. I mean, there's a lot happening, but that's actually happened in the 2 years that we've been trying to figure this out as well.
Well, it's obvious they've been listening to the podcast and they're like, we better
100%,
make some
everyone.
changes here. We
Number
better
one.
inform the public. We better inform
Right.
the public immediately.
But the thing that you know, is so interesting though, is that to your other point is like, I remember I told a story before this went out to the world about the way that all my life there's a word for it and I'm not going to remember it right now, but I personify things, right? Like I will say thank you to the dish or whatever, like in my head, the shampoo, and literally it was crickets. Like none of the three of you related to that at all. And I was literally like, oh, so I'm not neurospicy, I'm insane. But
we were all fascinated by that.
But wait,
but I
was
have
that
since
audible, Krista?
learned. I have
You
since
talk to it audibly?
sometimes.
You talk to the shampoo audibly or in your head?
Sometimes. In my head mostly.
Because
What
I
have you
do that
since
in my
learned?
head, so I'd like you to take me out of this sort of.
What I have
I
since
totally have.
learned is that is one of the symptoms, so to speak, of autism. And that is very normal for someone on the autism spectrum to do that, and to have things like being worried that you're using one plate all the time and you want to make all of the other plates feel equal, so you make sure it goes to the bottom.
Yes.
And oh, Sarah just had I look at her face.
Okay, so I can remember I was probably 2-ish, maybe 3.
Earliest memory?
No,
Is this your earliest
no,
memory?
I have psycho early memories. We don't even need to talk about it. It's psycho early memories. But I remember making the conscious choice that my left side of my body keeps bumping in. It's not as good as my right side. So I purposefully made sure to bilaterally do everything
That's
because
probably
I'm
really good.
probably right-handed. So I would like try to do, and I'd bump. So I
Whoa.
felt bad for my left side. So I took care of it. And purposefully, if I did something on this side, I would do this. That's why when they made me choose which hand to write with, I was very upset because it messed with my
Well,
desire to be perfectly bilaterally
what's amazing is that if you take a yoga class, they make
That's what they
sure
see you. Yeah.
if you do one side, you stretch one side, you do the other side. They
Yeah,
do
I was a
not
psycho kid. I know.
the other side
But I put my
unstretched.
plates away so that they go under the other
Oh, I
plate.
did that too. That too. But I'm saying I took it all the way to my own body. Like
Yeah, no,
I took it
that's awesome.
all the ways. Yeah, I'm
And
on.
yes,
Fuck you, Krista. Oops, it's not good for kids anymore. And what I will say is that was something I thought of while Michael was talking is when we started this, we were an ADHD podcast only. There was some
well, except for me. No, I was always on the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually was
Yeah,
always
I
on the
have to agree.
autism. I learned that ADHD was a piece of my puzzle. I thought I
Right.
was just on the autism spectrum because of
Yes.
my kids. And
Yes.
then I was, and then I, and my, because my husband was ADHD, I was always like, yeah, I'm not that. And then I had this like, oh, well,
Yeah.
turns out, rut-row.
That's amazing. And really, yeah, I mean that's again because when we started going into the autism realm, I was like, is this too broad or is this too much? And then seeing the overlap
Yeah.
and the connections, and that's where like trusting how this thing is just unfolding and letting it unfold is a real learning experience. Yeah.
For sure. Is there, I will say, because I feel compelled to say it as I remind us of our time, that you know, I too, when we first went into this, often when people come in and say, "Hey, let's do a project," I hear group projects suck. I'm going to be doing all the work. I'm the only one who's going to do it, and clearly that's not been the case with this group at all. But
Oh, I haven't done anything.
I will, you show up and you talk. But I will say that the thing that has made this too, because I'm going to plug Lindsay Scola's book, because the thing that has made this really, really doable for me in terms of the person who is, you know, putting out some of the social media and trying to do that stuff, is that without AI, without that piece of the puzzle and, you know, the AI or AI for ADHD by Lindsay Scola. We'll give you great tips on that. That has made this project entirely delightful as opposed to burdensome. And I think that's really important. I look forward to seeing everybody on Fridays. I think it helps, you know, me to manage the rest of the week. It is opening up new ways of looking at things. I coach communication in the corporate world, and my practice in that space has completely changed in this last year. And I can recognize how to support others differently that I just don't think I would have ever seen before. And it's becoming a bigger topic to talk about neurodiversity in the workspace. So, anyway, yeah, it's just, you know, it's been a real blessing, a real blessing.
I was hoping you said you coached like like a semi-pro softball league. And I coach because there was a pause there, and I thought it was going to be a coach softball.
Yeah,
I coached a
no,
semi-pro softball league, and you
no,
guys know. I mean,
no sports, no sports.
I know, I know. That's why I was like, please. I hope it's something crazy.
No. All right, well, we just have a couple minutes left. Does anybody else
Yeah,
want to
I'd
say
agree
anything
with
before
the
we?
AI stuff.
Yeah, go ahead. Was there anything else? Just you like the AI stuff?
Did you have anything to expand on the AI part, Sarah?
Yes, I did. I just don't know how glitchy my internet is, so I'll try.
Do it.
Girl, all like,
Yeah, no, I've been loving it. I freaking, do you know what I've been doing with my chat GPT, who I've named? I go and hang out with her and I have her summarize books I've already read to remind myself of stuff. And then I talk about the book with her. It's fun. I'm a nerd though.
That's
So
wild.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really and then so one of the books that I'll do a plug for something I'm really into, which is climate change. And one of my favorite books about climate change is called 6 Degrees. And it's a science writer who's compiled in each chapter the science articles and the research on what 1 degree looks like. The second chapter is what 2 degrees of warming looks like, all the way to 6 degrees of warming. And we're at the 2 right now. It's really interesting. So I had her go back and like refresh my recollection of what that chapter, 2 degree warming, what we can expect, et cetera, politically, what we can expect weather-wise, you name it. And then she's like, oh, by the way, there's a new version of this book. He redid it in 2020. Would you like me to answer with respect to that? And so then I got deep on, anyway,
Wow.
all
No,
because of Lindsay Scola.
so
Thank you, Lindsay.
and for and for those of you for those as an because I actually don't know if this is in the book, but as a tip for those of you, just leave you guys with a tip. I got instructions to do something recently that for whatever reason they just did not work with my brain. Like they were instructions, like step by step, but I literally looked at it and it made my brain burn. And so I put it into chat into my chat and I was like, can you explain this to you break this out and explain this in a way that my brain will understand? And it did,
Wow.
and I was able to complete that task within 5 minutes, as opposed to wanting to throw the instructions through the window and not being able to do anything and being angry about it. And I was like, when I first read them yesterday, I was literally like, nope, not gonna. I got really mad. And then this morning I woke up and I was like, I am going to use a tool. And I did. And that task is done. And it got done really quickly. All I needed was the instructions in a format that my brain could understand.
Wow. That's amazing.
So, so anyway, that is what I will leave the tip with on that, because it was miraculous. And I've done that on several occasions.
But it doesn't get it done for you. It just tells you how to do it. You have to do it yourself.
But it breaks the instructions out in
How do I
ways.
clean my shed?
Yeah.
Help me.
It
Where do I
probably would-
start?
It would
Do I have to
it
tell
would
them
do
all
that
the
for
things
you.
in my
You take a
shed?
picture of it too.
Yeah, and it'll help you. Yeah.
Start
And
here.
then-
Get rid of that. You don't
Yeah,
know.
say I need to
That's
organize
tough.
these tools. How many boxes? Yada yada.
Yeah, it'll do it. It'll help.
To be continued.
And it
Yes.
could then say, go and find me the links to purchase the organization items I need.
Yep.
And in the smallest, the cheapest or the closest to me or whatever parameter,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. I told y'all I made the itinerary for me to go from Salem, Oregon to Denver using AI, no?
Mm-mm.
Right? Didn't I tell
I
you?
thought you did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Was it the AAA triptych? But now
Yeah,
it's, remember
I'm
the
telling
AAA
you.
triptych? Where
I
they would take a
love-
big pen and they would like just show you the map. But now the in-depthness of that situation is beyond, I'm sure.
Mhm.
You can do anything.
I love it. Yeah.
And
All right.
on that,
Love you guys.
Wow.
and on that note, we need to send our dear Sarah out on assignment. She's got to run
On
and
assignment.
travel
Babe,
and
big
travel.
I'm gonna
assignment.
miss you guys. What I'm gonna do
Be
next
safe.
week
Have a safe,
without you.
wonderful trip.
Have a safe, wonderful
Safe
trip. And for
travels to
everybody
Taipei.
else, have
Thank
fun
you.
listening to some of our favorite episodes in the month of July. And we will be back with bells on and with a fantastic couple of episodes with with a first guest who's going to talk a lot about what this looks like as you're getting ready for your kids in school and IEPs and 504s and what to be aware of and what to think about and how neurodiversity shows up in our kids and how we can support them.
Yeah, so stay tuned for August for that
Yeah.
vital information. Any parents of our neurospicy folks.
Yeah.
That'll help you
It'll probably
navigate
be
those kind of complicated school systems.
it'll probably be a two-parter. So with that, I'm going to let Michael send us off because he is the best at it.
Well, now I'm just going to lock up here and freeze. No, thank you so much for joining us for another season 2 of This Is How My Brain Works. We are super excited for season 3. Enjoy the time off, and we will too. Maybe we'll have some sponsors for next year.
Love that.
Take
Call
care,
us.
everyone. We'll see you next season 3. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you like this episode of This Is How My Brain Works, please like, subscribe, and share. If you'd like more info on the hosts, guests, and topics, check out the show notes. Thanks for listening.